Welcome to Ariana's book summary series. I'm Ariana. Every day I'll share the key ideas I learned from a book here with you. Subscribe to my channel now if you don't want to miss it. The book for today is Outwitting the Devil, The Secret to Freedom and Success by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill, the would-be author of the book Think and Grow Rich, interviewed Andrew Carnegie, the richest man in America, in 1908. At the time, Carnegie had already sold his steel business to J.P. Morgan, resulting in an estimated fortune of $370 billion. More than 3 times as much as Amazon's Jeff Bezos. Carnegie made an odd request after learning that Hill intended to enroll in law school and conduct successful interviews as a side job. Why couldn't Hill just interview people full-time? Both the successes and the failures? Carnegie firmly believed that people needed to learn from others who had already experienced the school of life, rather than from books. Hill took the advice to heart. He would eventually speak with 500 extraordinary outliers and 25,000 average people. Because of the book's great success, Hill has become a famous figure himself. 1 year after the book was published in 1938, he started working on his next project right away. Sadly, his fictional interview with the cause of all evil, Outwitting the Devil, was never published until 2011, 72 years later, just because of his wife's opinion that it was too controversial for its time. Here are 3 takeaways from a fascinating book by one of the world's first self-improvement pioneers. Lesson 1: You live your life acting out of either fear or faith. Hill was aware of one of the devil's main weapons before his fictitious interview with the embodiment of evil, fear. Hill had gotten a death threat a few years back. He ultimately spent more than a year paralyzed in hiding with relatives. He went outside one night and discovered what Carnegie had told him about many years earlier. You will discover that the cause of success is not something separate and apart from the man, that it is a force so intangible in nature that the majority of men never recognize it, a force which might be properly called the other self. The other self advised Hill to put an end to his philosophy of achievement and stop giving in to doubt and fear, which he did. When we're listening to our other self, we have faith in ourselves. We don't give in to what Stephen Pressfield calls the resistance. This is the only way to properly operate in life. But at every turn of our lives, the devil tries to undermine this other self. He accomplishes this by classifying people as drifters or non-drifters. Lesson 2: The devil's goal is to make all humans aimless drifters, and if we're not careful, he quickly succeeds. Hill discovers the devil has even more inventive ways of ruining us once he begins questioning him about the most common fears he uses against man. The devil is said to first introduce the principle of habit into our minds before forming the habit of drifting. Direct from the source, this is what drifting is. I can best define the word drift by saying that people who think for themselves never drift, while those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. The opposite of a stoic is a drifter. Drifters allow life to throw them around and let the outside world rule their thoughts. As a result of not using their brains to think, they do nothing. Hill describes how drifting eventually develops into a hypnotic rhythm that keeps people occupied with trivial matters and, over time, drifting becomes permanent in a later chapter of the book. If we don't outwit the devil, that is. Lesson 3: We can achieve mental, spiritual, and physical freedom by adhering to 7 principles. Hill finally asks the master of evil for advice on how we can fight his evil forces after he made the devil reveal every dirty trick in his book. He reveals 7 rules that people should adhere to in order to experience freedom in all spheres of life. 1. Definiteness of purpose. Pick a purpose, a lofty aspiration, or a big goal, and work tirelessly to achieve it. 2. Mastery over self. Freedom is equal to discipline. You'll be a drifter your entire life if you live on impulse. 3. Learning from adversity. Failures are simply failures. We can choose to either grow from them or let them stop us. 4. Controlling environmental influence. It matters who you hang out with. It matters how your room looks. 5. Time. Drift and negativity can become permanent with time. But it can also make wisdom and goodwill endure. 6. Harmony. You must be the main actor in your life in order to balance the mental, spiritual, and physical facets of it. 7. Caution. Always take action. But thought should always come before action. Setbacks happen to the best of us. But those setbacks can easily develop into persistent indecision. Stop letting the devil win. We cannot afford to lose the game of life. Let me summarize here. In the book, Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill imagines a conversation with the devil during which the latter reveals some truths about the source of evil that will enable us to avoid his grasp and live a good life. What a creative method of writing a book, especially considering its time. Even 80 years after it was written, Outwitting the Devil still shines with straightforward ideas that are presented in relatable stories and reinforced in engaging ways to make them stick. Although Napoleon Hill was a controversial figure, I get the impression from his writing that he cared deeply about his fellow citizens. That's it for today. Remember to like, comment, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.